Hello and welcome back to the Single Malt Frontier. Where did my intro script go? Yeah. see, that's the problem with throwing things together at the last minute. All right, guys. Thanks for waiting only 5 minutes for us to go live this time. And this is what happens when you don't wait 10. All right, hey, welcome back to the Single Malt Frontier, where we explore the edge of innovation in American single malt whiskey. Here on the show, we do a little bit of tasting and a lot of talking. Usually we talk about whiskey, but the best thing about whiskey is the conversations we get to have, and we get to talking about a little bit of everything. Today, we're going to do a Just Hosts episode, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this is co-branded Rangers Respite. We're also streaming to the Rangers Respite channel. This is the kickoff of the annual Virginia Whiskey Tournament 2026. And Phill is going to take the reins and drive this thing today. But first, I want to say, we don't talk live for the benefit of our audience. We are not giving them the full parasocial experience lately. So Phill, how are you? How you been doing?
I'm doing all right. I spent a good chunk of today fixing tech issues.
Yeah, right.
So everything that I do that isn't Single Malt Frontier, for Single Malt Frontier, I've got a little Mac Mini provided by my boss. Sorry, I pointed the wrong direction. Provided by my boss.
Oh, hi. What?
And for pretty much everything else, I have either an Alienware computer that is the bane of my existence because Alienware is not great, or a ThinkPad, which I genuinely really like and has served me exceptionally well, except the battery has started failing. And this morning, as I was trying to print things, the battery on my ThinkPad was just totally shot, and it stopped charging off of the charger. And I couldn't print because my printer was out of yellow ink. So despite the fact that I was printing this,
yes,
which contains no yellow,
and infamously, printers are just sassy like that.
Oh yeah. So I had to go find a charger, find ink. The first place that I went to look for ink didn't have the right. They had the black ink, but they didn't have the multicolor pack, which is frustrating. And I had to go get a new charger for my laptop.
No, Patrick, you're not late. We just started. We started only 5 minutes late, so I could see your confusion.
Yeah, no, I'm just complaining about the day that I've had. So it's what I get for not doing this like Tuesday or like Monday. But I am here.
Yeah, our original plan was to record this on Monday and release it scheduled because I had a busy week. But then my kid got sick. So we just had to call that off and say, yeah, we'll just do it live in the Thursday slot. We'll probably have things under control by then. Mm-hmm. Today, my dog also got sick. But positive news, I got a job offer today. Yay! So one of the many reasons that the schedule this year has been sparse, and you probably have all noticed that I'm not posting as much on Instagram, to say the least. Yeah, no, Patrick, just because we're co-streaming on the Rangers Respite and on Single Malt Frontier. So
yeah,
either video is fine, but the chat is probably concentrated on Single Malt Frontier. But
almost definitely.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so one of the reasons I have basically not been posting on Instagram at all this year, and you've seen a lot less of me on social media, especially the Whiskey Lodge Discord, apologies to the Whiskey Lodge, is because I have been navigating unemployment. So it's hard to keep up with a hobby podcast when you're trying to find a job. And yeah, who else is even here? That's a good question. Whiskey with Brad is here. Off Topic Whiskey is here.
I'm here.
Phill is here. We're all in the chat.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't do a good job of announcing today because this came together last minute and also got rescheduled at the last minute. Because when I got a job offer, I said we should go celebrate, and my wife was like, "But I got to go to bed at 6:30, so let's go out for dinner now at 4 o'clock." So yeah,
absolutely.
Anyway, now we're all caught up on how we got here. as long as we're making it a 2 YouTube channel thing, let's make it a 3 YouTube channel thing. I have sample bottles of Bonvale. We're all getting our Bonvale
Ooh.
single barrel picks from the Three Guys One Grain. So these are the bottles, full size in their full glory. Don't roast me for the weird way I was holding the bottles there.
It's hard to hold bottles to like display them that isn't weird, because like holding them by the neck is kind of weird. Holding them from underneath is kind of weird, especially if you've got like fat fingers that cover up half the label, and like just doing this feels super unstable.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Reverse grip?
Ooh.
How dare you?
And just casually holding it upside down. Y'all can read upside down, right?
That seems like the right way to hold a baseball bat. I mean, bottle of whiskey. Also, see Octomore right there over my left thumb. Definitely looks like a bowling pin.
Oh, who was it that had the bowling pin decanters in like the 70s and 80s?
Was that Beam? Was that Wild Turkey?
It was either Beam or Wild Turkey. Either way, okay, I really want one.
Someone in the chat look that up. All right, hey, as long as we're messing around today, do we want to do the chat on screen?
Yeah, let's see how that works.
We haven't done that in a while. They changed it a little bit. Now it's called a widget. No, it's something else. Hold on. They've redone this whole interface, and then they sent me a survey today. Would you keep using StreamYard? And I'm like, sure.
Maybe.
I haven't used all the new stuff you added, but sure.
Hold on. I think I figured it out.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So anyways, Patrick observed the "Oh Captain, my Captain." Tell us about the captain hat.
Well, so I was going to make a joke about, since I'm taking the lead on this one, I'll put on my captain hat. Which, very funny, lives between a NASA hat and a USS Enterprise NCC 1701D hat.
Nice. It's appropriate between those two things, I think.
Yeah. But I put it on prematurely. On the topic of the Three Guys One Grain barrel picks, I have been like waiting with bated breath, because like the shipper, and this isn't Longhorn's fault, this isn't Distillery Acadien's fault, this is just the courier service that they use, has like sort of a weird customer service interface in that kind of doesn't have one. Ooh, oh wait, you can change the shape of the
text. I'm sorry, I'm messing around. Yeah. What even is SpeedX? Look, I'm not trying to cast shade their way, but like all I have to say is the delivery guy did not seem the most professional delivery guy I've had in a while.
So like the only thing that I can figure out based on like cursory like snooping on the internet is that they're like a logistics contractor that subcontracts, like they do like distribution point logistics and like transfer between. Oh, they don't do the last mile. They subcontract.
So that explains why the guy in a sedan randomly blocked my driveway and then stood at my front door blasting music out of his pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, I was coming home from an errand and going, why is my driveway blocked by a random sedan?
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait until they deliver and my dog has an aneurysm. But I was getting kind of frustrated because like everybody was getting theirs, and I checked the tracking on mine and it had arrived at their processing facility in Flower Mound, Texas, and didn't move. Like no like process in, process out, or anything.
To be fair, though, I think that's basically the point of origin, right? Like after the distillery shipped to Longhorn Wine and Spirits in Texas, I think Flower Mound, Texas is basically where it started.
Yeah. And so like I got the email from Longhorn/DA saying that they had handed it off to the courier. SpeedX had it, and there was a tracking number there. And then the tracking number in the follow-up email that I got that was like, hey, your shipment's on the way, that was also from them, had a different, like, it was a your order is packed, here's the tracking number, and then your order is in the hands of the couriers, here's the tracking number. It was two different tracking numbers, which made me nervous. And I had to call Longhorn, which I feel really bad about, because I didn't want to mess with them, because it's not their fault that SpeedX doesn't have any customer service contact information or, an AI chatbot, even though they think that they have one.
Yeah, right. Imagine the vibe coded website hallucinated a chatbot. The ultimate irony.
I mean, they were really nice. They were like, "Oh yeah, you should have gotten like updates saying that it was like in transit." The news is this morning, after I called them yesterday, this morning at like 6 a.m., it made it to a facility in Linden, New Jersey. So it's closer geographically.
Yes, but a little it kind of overshot a little, right?
Yeah. So on the one hand, I'm not surprised that they're, oh, see you, Patrick.
Bye,
Sorry,
Patrick.
we're taking forever.
Yeah.
On the one hand, I'm not surprised that there isn't a logistics facility for this random company near where I live. On the other hand, I'm surprised that they don't have one in like Baltimore or Richmond or Norfolk, like any of the places where there are big like freight throughputs, Oh, really? So I will say that the person that I spoke to at Longhorn said that they were going to communicate with SpeedX. So I think they can get a hold of their shipping partner. I couldn't. Unless
Also
you
interesting. I guess it depends on where it's going. So for some people, it's FedEx. I don't know. This whole thing, all I can say is you're getting last of its kind Gulf
Mhm.
Coast American single malt from Louisiana at cask strength,
Oh, yeah.
36 bottle turnout barrel for $65.
I'm not at all upset about
We
that.
might have cut some corners on some logistics in order to hit that price point. Like, let's just put
Maybe.
it that way.
Yeah, I mean, and, I'm not really complaining, I'm just nervous,
Yeah. I feel really bad for Patrick received a damaged bottle. I hope they make
Yeah.
that right. But what really sucks is there are no more bottles. There's
Yeah.
none left in inventory. So replacing, wait, was the damaged one the port or the single barrel? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but
I can go grab that off the. Really
well,
heartbreaking to see. I mean, like when you got
yeah,
36 bottles total of a thing. No, okay. So I would say thankfully it was the port finished
yeah.
because there is technically more of that. It's just not being sold as Three Guys One Grain branded. It
Mhm.
will be sold. The rest of that batch will be sold via another club later in the year. And for anybody who's got FOMO about missing out on more bottles of that, they will come into existence. I can't guarantee the price. I've asked the distiller to let me know when and where they go on sale if it's a public link,
Mhm.
so that anybody who wants to buy more has that opportunity, subject to the price being different and completely out of my control.
Yeah. I would say I might say we should email Philip Medier, and I think I'm saying his name right, and
Yes.
ask if there's any way we can get an empty bottle with the correct label on it
Yeah.
shipped to Patrick, because if his bottle is not broken to the point of leaking and it's just like a bad chip and weak point, if we can get him an empty bottle that it can go into so that it's not in a potentially more breakable bottle,
Yes.
we should do that.
Or just off brand, right?
Yeah.
So the good news is even though it was damaged, it was a superficial chip on the bottle, a pretty significant one, but in
Yeah.
the foot. So as far as I know, there was no leakage. but
Yes.
one can't be sure that the crack didn't go through and release some shards of glass into the
Yeah.
inside. So at the very least, he's got a coffee filter. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah.
So, like, it looks like it's similar to this bottle in that there's a
Yeah.
big fat foot on the bottom, which
Yep.
is good because I don't know that it would have survived if it didn't.
Yep. So if anyone's wondering why they got the giant feet on bottles, sometimes it comes in handy. Did I ever show you? I got one Lost Lantern bottle once that had a twice as thick foot on it. And I messaged Adam and I was like, hey, this is really funny. I know it's got the right volume of liquid in it, but just double checking. This is still 750, right?
That's like the and I don't have one to hand. The older High West bottles, like that had like the like uneven internal space on the bottom with like the really thick foot. I always found those to be really funny because none of them were really exactly the same, and they all looked like extremely heavy bottles.
Yeah, so this is not specifically the bottle that was double thick, but I found a good example. They're individually poured into molds, right? And there's
Yeah.
just a lot of variance bottle to bottle. So you can find a really thin one and you can find a really thick one. But actually, most of them are somewhere in between these. So it's not as extreme as this looks.
Yeah.
But
It is a really funny, like, to have like two bottles next to each other on the shelf and be like, why is this one like significantly different? All right.
didn't mean to
I
distract you by going through my shelves. But yeah,
okay.
let's get into the thing. What are we doing today, Phil?
I run the Virginia Whiskey Tournament every summer. The first bouts always start June 2nd. I always, sort of randomly assign which distilleries are going up against each other in bouts. And you guys, everybody who sees my posts online, can vote. I'm doing polls on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube this year, and hoping to like gauge interaction on those three platforms, even though Threads and Instagram are kind of almost the same platform, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Threads is Twitter, but without Elon Musk. It's
Yeah.
Instagram branded Twitter, right? And it does get more activity than Blue Sky, which like that's where I thought
Yeah.
we were all gonna head.
Yeah.
Also, did you see Instagram introduced basically Snapchat but weird today?
Yeah.
It's such a weird. I don't like it. I
I
don't like it.
I've already gotten the probably misleading, "Hey, your friends are using this. You should try it out."
Yeah, I mean, probably referring to
Notifications.
me because I did try it just to be like, what is it? How does this work? What does it do? What's really weird about it as a person submitting pictures to it
Mhm.
is it is abundantly unclear. It's not abundantly clear to say the least. Abundantly unclear, we shall say,
Yeah.
whether your picture actually went anywhere.
Mhm.
And so you have a lot of people submitting the same picture over and over again because they're having the same problem, right? So it's really funny to like click through those things and be like, yes, this person submitted, technically basically the same pose selfie like 3 different times before they figured out, oh yeah, no, those pictures are going because
Yeah.
there's no submit button. It's point the camera, take a picture, and then who knows what happened. Yeah, we're not using it. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
Instagram, make it go away. It's also just like where they had to shove it into the interface is weird. Like stories were already Instagram, Snapchat. What the hell is
Yeah.
this?
I don't know. All right. Back on
Anyways,
track.
sorry.
I am the captain now.
Yes.
So I've been doing this. This is year 5. Every year we have had a different champion, which I'm excited about. And it sort of started, you know, as sort of it was right as things were starting to open up post pandemic, and a lot of distilleries weren't in a great spot. And I kind of was like, you know what? It'd be kind of cool if I could use the platform that I have, and at the time I was on Twitter, and I had a much larger platform on Twitter than I ever did on YouTube or on Instagram. And so I was getting like good interaction, pointing people at Virginia distilleries, craft distilleries in the state that I live in, and sort of you know give back. And the first year was really fun. The inaugural champion of the Virginia whiskey tournament was Falls Church Distillers. It was
And that put them on the map for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, like they they had started distilling and put out I think their first or second batch of products right as the pandemic started, which was not the best timing for them, but great guys. Uh, Michael Paluzzo, the guy who runs it, is an Air Force veteran. They're using small stills. They're doing really interesting flavored stuff. But their core is their church bourbon, which I don't remember where I put, which is why it's not behind me. Second year, Catoctin Creek won, which I'm not at all biased. I'm not influencing who wins very much at all, if I am, but Catoctin Creek is my favorite distillery. The year after that, it was J.H. Bard's, which was another really new distillery. Yes.
Just found it.
They were founded in 2020. Yep, established in 2020. And it's one of those cases where it was enthusiasts who wanted to start a distillery, so they did. And they're down in Southwest Virginia near Blacksburg, which is where Virginia Tech is. And they're really cool people. I briefly tried to get them onto the show last year, and it just sort of never really worked out. But I'd love to have them on. And then last year, our winner was the Virginia Distillery Company. And
the fact it took 3 years for
Yeah.
VDC to win says a lot about the quality of the distilleries in Virginia.
I have said repeatedly that I believe that Virginia may not have the most distilleries, or at least not the most whiskey producing distilleries of all the states. But I think we've got the highest hit to miss rate of any state.
It certainly has the most distilleries per state that I know about.
Texas has more.
But that I know about. And I lived in Texas, right?
Oh.
Like,
okay,
I'm not saying like, could I look it up and find more? I'm saying I personally know more Virginia distilleries than I personally know Texas distilleries.
I wonder
right? Texas, you've got like, they're out of business now, but there was a distillery in Katy, Texas called MKT.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that they went out of business. I meant to pick up a bottle from them.
Oh, did you? Because they're railroad themed, or like?
Because my great grandfather worked for the MKT.
Oh, cool. Well, I used to live in Katy, Texas. So. So my parents just told me MKT went out of business like last year.
Oof.
MKT Distillery, right? Like,
I mean,
they were relatively new to begin with.
Yeah.
But no, Colorado. I think actually Colorado probably, except for the Virginia whiskey tournament educating me about Colorado, I think Colorado would have beat Virginia in terms of things I had organically discovered.
I mean,
but yeah, Texas, like, so there's MKT, which I just happened to know. There's Balcones, there's Garrison Brothers, there's Andalusia, there's Swift. And then like, I know there's TX whiskey.
Still Austin.
And there's like 5 others that I know about kind of as a technicality because I bought the Crowded Barrels 12 Days of Christmas 2 years ago.
Yeah.
12 days of whiskey, sorry. 12 days of
Yeah.
Texas whiskey.
Honestly, I think that more brands should be like coming together to do stuff like that, because like there are 54, I don't remember exactly how many. This is bad. I should know this off the top of my head. There are a
Yeah,
lot.
you're running the tournament. Come on now.
Yeah. I mean, jeez. Let's see how many I've got on a side, and then I can double it and figure it out. So it's 4, 8, 12.
So 2, 8.
12.
How many are in the first round? Is it 4 per bracket?
Not exactly. Some of them are 3, some of them are 4, sort of evenly distributed, or as evenly as I could, to make it work out with the number of distilleries that we have, because I couldn't make the second round line up nicely if I gave the last 2 champions buys to the second round, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, California up and coming, lots of distilleries. No surprise, big state. I actually forgot. I looked up like over a dozen distilleries when I was in San Diego because I just wanted to do like I was there for another reason and I just said, let's throw in a distillery tour. So I tried to find the area that had the most concentration of distilleries within like a 10-minute drive.
I was right. 54 whiskey producing distilleries in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Now that does include a couple of NDPs that are, making Virginia whiskey, in that they're taking sourced whiskey and they're doing something to it to make it unique, or they're already distilling, but the product they have on shelves is sourced. For example, Open Road, which is a really new distillery. They've got their stuff aging, and to sort of put something on shelves to put people in the mind of they're making whiskey and not just vodka and gin. They are sourcing whiskey. That's a lot of distilleries. And I have tried whiskey from most of these. I don't have examples from all of these.
Sorry, I know I'm sidebarring your Virginia again, but I'm gonna say I've been following Nico Martini on Substack. I also recommend that book, even though I haven't read it.
So I posted a link to a service that has like broken down by state distillery lists for each state. I will say that the one for Virginia is short a couple and lists at least one that is defunct, because unfortunately 8 Shires is no longer producing whiskey or any spirits, which is
Apparently
unfortunate.
wasn't Substack. I can't find him on Substack. I think I'm on his mailing list somehow, whatever it is. Sorry. I'm gonna shut up. I'm being ADHD today.
It's okay. We're all over the place. I always am all over the place. But anyway, this is my 5th year doing this. Every year the champion gets a Peter Jefferson Cup with the with Virginia Whiskey Champion 2026, or the appropriate year engraved on it. A Jefferson Cup was chosen because Thomas Jefferson is one of the most famous Virginians, and also I think it would be kind of annoying for him for a whiskey championship to use a Jefferson Cup as a trophy, because he believed whiskey to be a drink for poor people. Which,
boo, but also kind of
yeah. I mean, whiskey is for everybody except for children.
Yes. But also, if you listen to everybody's grandmother, put some whiskey on their teeth while they're teething.
Oh.
Could not bring myself to do it. Just feels wrong.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Aaron, I was
Yeah.
so mad because I I looked them up. The reason why I know that they are no longer that they ceased production and the Spirits Museum moved to BDC is because I was going to be down in Williamsburg and I was going to break away from the family and go to the Spirits Museum and visit 8 Shires and buy a bottle of whiskey from them and learn that they were closed.
But it is cool that their artifacts were moved somewhere. The VDC is
Yeah.
upholding the heritage.
I mean, and the heritage is really important because Virginia is the birthplace of distilling in America. You hear Maryland say that they are, and you hear New Jersey say that they are, but they are lying. There is, there is evidence of distillation taking place, primary source evidence, and also artifacts that indicate that distillation was taking place in Virginia, in and not just as Skip would claim in what is now Kentucky, but in Jamestown, Virginia, as early as 1618. So I'm just putting it out there. Now, it wouldn't necessarily be whiskey as we would consider whiskey now. It was probably white whiskey, probably distilled primarily from barley rather than what would become America's spirit. However, Charles Smith, I think his name is Charles Smith, started distilling with the local corn that the local Native Americans were growing sometime in the late 1600s. But anyway, I've gotten off on a tangent. But Virginia is really important to distilling, just in general in the United States, and highlighting Virginia distilleries and sort of raising awareness. There are 54 distilleries that are going to be on this list, and I encourage you to look up any that catch your eye, because there are so many that do so much cool stuff that don't get the attention that they deserve. And I'm going to stop yakking and start pulling names from the Virginia Whiskey Hat,
Yeah, let's do the thing.
which is definitely not just a dusty top hat.
I'm just making an editor's note that we're starting drawing names at 33 minutes, so we can link people
Yeah.
past all the banter if they so desire. But
Right.
let's be honest, what's the good part of the video?
Okay. And going into the first slot in the first bout of the first round is Open Road Distilling Company, which is up near me. And sort of amusingly, one that I just mentioned. And they will be going up against Brady's Distillery. They make the Accomplice Bourbon. And I am definitely going to print out a filled-in version of this to make it easier for me going forward.
Nothing could possibly go wrong between now and then.
I hope not.
But hey, you're reading them out on stream, so we can always recover.
Yeah. Number 3 in that first bout is Old House Vineyard and Distillery. That one's really interesting. They've got a little World War II museum. It's on a winery, and they've got a little brewery and a distillery.
I'm gonna write these down too. What was the second one?
The second one was Brady's.
Brady's.
It's a sticker on the inside of the hat. I don't want to pull that off.
No, I think that one can go in the.
Yeah. Ooh. And number 4 in bout 1 of round 1 is Three Crosses Distilling Company. They make the Three Crosses American whiskey, the Noble Hound Rye whiskey, and the Noble Hound Dark Rye. The Noble Hound Dark Rye, I think, is one of the best applications of a really strong port finish on a rye whiskey.
All right, I can't put new lines in YouTube's chat comments. All right, so just so that this isn't just a list of names with no commentary in between. Not that you want to put your thumb on the scale of all of these,
Yeah.
but what do you think about that matchup?
I
There's no
think
huge names in there.
there aren't any huge names in there, but in terms of like community building and having moved on to subsequent rounds, I think that Brady's and Three Crosses are both I would say, favorites to move on to round 2. Three Crosses is down in Powhatan. They're another veteran-owned business. And Brady's seems to have a lot of popular support, which is always really good. That's what carried Falls Church Distillers through to the champion the first year.
Right. And just so everyone knows, this is basically a voting contest, which means it's kind of a popularity contest, but
Yeah.
it's whoever from their supporters turns out in the most numbers, really. So it's kind of who is the most community beloved.
Yeah. Which is why it was kind of surprising that it took until year 4 for Virginia Distillery Company to win.
I think a few years ago they didn't have a ton going on social media, but they've
Yeah.
completely turned that around. And since about 2 years ago, they've been one of the most entertaining whiskey brand channels,
Oh yeah.
accounts, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that helps a lot. I mean, I would argue Westland has also done well in that respect, but that's not Virginia.
No.
Lots of brands kind of are just like, here's a new product, right? Or sometimes they'll post an ad, sometimes they'll post a documentary clip, but Virginia posts memes.
Yes. And I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Now, if only Scott Harris could really harness the birding community, because I follow him on Blue Sky, and he posts a lot of really cool bird pictures.
You should have him suggest to him, you should suggest to him to post the bracket for the Virginia Whiskey Tournament on his personal Blue
I mean,
Sky.
I'm going to be sending emails around this coming week. So in round 1, bout 2, which is the opposite side of the bracket. Sorry, I'm trying to see what I'm doing in the in the screen, and it's not helping.
Yeah, it's hard.
We have New Realm Brewing and Distilling. They're interesting. They are primarily a beer brewery. Whoops.
Nice.
That went well.
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
Are all the names still in there?
Nope. but I will really quick take the one that did remain and put it up.
Winner.
They're really interesting because they've got brewing facilities like up and down the East Coast, like, which is unusual. Most places have like one place where they are, maybe multiple locations in the state, but not a whole lot of crossing over into other states. And they have 3 facilities in Virginia, and only one of them is a distillery, and you can only buy their whiskey on site. So I've got to go down and visit them at some point. And the one that remained in the hat is the Lost Whiskey Company, which is also up near me. They are an example of an NDP, non-distilling producer that is doing some interesting stuff with the whiskey that they're sourcing. They recently released a double oak bourbon where they sourced from Kentucky, put it in new charred oak barrels after aging it up here in Virginia, and I haven't tried it because I haven't found it anywhere, but it looks interesting. They're also a really good example of an NDP that's pretty clear about what they're doing and why they're doing it. All right, give me just a second. I'm going to grab a whole bunch of these that are just on the floor beside me and throw them into the hat. Sorry,
cool.
Doug.
So I'll ad-lib while you're doing that. So what I have to hand around me in terms of Virginia distilleries is VDC. Obviously, I've got a lot. They make American single malt. Very good. Copper Fox, which is also very good American single malt. I have a couple of examples of that. Some are from Phill in sample bottles. I have Mother Earth, J.H. Bard's, Catoctin Creek, many examples of Catoctin Creek, and Keschel. I don't I at least can't find right this moment any other Virginia distilleries, but I'm actually fairly certain Phill has sent me almost all of them that he has in a box. So I could go hunt, but right now I'm ad-libbing to fill space while Phill fixes the hat. He says, and then immediately stops talking. I think my plan here, I am actually at the moment drinking the latest from Virginia Distilling.
Ooh, I was going to say you should talk about split barrel because that's something that you can speak to that I can't yet. I'm working on it.
Yet? What do you mean yet? Oh, because you
gonna-
don't have it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so split barrel project. I mean, in the interest of it being Virginia whiskey, this is. I feel like there's a chat, do your thing. So in the interest of Virginia whiskey, but not, and also kind of American single malt, but like if you're a purist, this might offend you. And to be honest, that was my first reaction. Virginia Distillery Company, which has only ever done single malt to date, whether it was sourced Scotch or owned distilled American single malt, has teamed up with Bardstown Bourbon Company to release a 50-50 blended American whiskey that is bourbon and American single malt. So bourbon from Bardstown and American single malt from Virginia Distillery. This media kit was very cool because, so first of all, here's the finished product. $45 gets you a blended whiskey, which is like blended Scotch. It's got a single malt component in there, but it's got basically, call it grain whiskey. That is just like kind of, I would say it's doing more than bulking it out because this is bourbon. Bourbon has a distinct character of its own, where youngish grain whiskey may kind of just be neutral filler. This media kit was cool because they actually sent the separate components that went into the 50-50 blend. So I got to try the Bardstown bourbon that went into it and the American single malt that went into it. The American single malt is, it's an ex-bourbon, right? Pretty basic, 5 years old. And when I asked Amanda Beckwith, she said the closest thing in the portfolio of an actual product they released to this would be the Courage and Conviction ex-bourbon, which is a little older, a little more refined. This has some space in it. It has some space to fill in with the other components. So like well chosen for integration. And the bourbon, likewise, a little thin on the nose, but it has that oaky tannic character. And actually, like, these fill in the gaps in each other very well. And you get something that tastes a bit like bourbon and a bit like American single malt, but in a different kind of way than when you have a new oak aged American single malt, where it's like American single malt done the bourbon way. This is distinctly American single malt and bourbon at the same time, and they're not really fighting with each other, which is really nice. And I think that the blend is better than the sum of its parts, which is a good outcome, right? These whiskeys were well chosen to go into a blend. And then the question is, and this is initially I reached out to Amanda because I saw this label go by and I'm like, yeah, but why though? Right? Why make when you've got $35 VDC American single malt, which is like, to say it's plenty competent is an understatement. Like it's incredible whiskey for $35. And then to say, why have another product that is not American single malt, something they've never done before, co-branded, I mean, like almost independent bottler style, like co-branded with another distillery. Like why do this? So the answer being, first of all, they just had a private customer, like a golf club or something, I don't know, that wanted just a white label custom blend. And they selected VDC and Bardstown bourbon. That's just what they wanted. That's the flavor profile they liked. And the company said, that's actually pretty good, but like we could release that at 90 proof instead of 80 proof. And feel like it's a better presentation, feel like it's something we can have in the tasting room that actually brings people like, hey, you like bourbon? Here's a stepping stone to get from bourbon to single malt. So I think this could work out well for them. I think I am not the audience for this, but like, despite myself, I actually like this whiskey a fair bit. Like it's not, if I'm looking for American single malt, this is not what I'd pour. But if you just like blind and say like, okay, pour me something like, I treat this the same as I treat blended scotch, right? Like this is a warm up drink for me. It's enjoyable. It's got some character. It's not blowing me away in any particular direction. But like for a lot of whiskey drinkers, that's going to do the job.
Thank you. In case you're wondering, I've got 2 boxes of samples beside me. I guess where
Yeah.
all of those little slips went.
Oh no.
So hopefully I got them all. If I didn't, I will go hunting later. All right. So in round 1, bout 2, so far we have, and I've already forgotten, New Realm Brewing and Distilling Company and Lost Whiskey Company. A brewer turned distiller and an independent bottler or a non-distilling producer. And up against them, we have the Highlands Distilling Company, another veteran-owned company. You're going to find a lot of those in Virginia. Come on. There we go.
Say that name again.
Highlands Distilling Company. I don't have a bottle of that handy because I made the poor choice of moving all of my Virginia whiskey across the room for shelf space.
You're inspiring another YouTube channel.
Yes. Yes, please. I think that every state should have somebody doing something like this for them. Because this is a great way to like, especially for smaller distilleries like, you know, Old House or Open Road, which is very new.
Whiskey Lore did a craft distillery bracket that looked a lot like this.
Yeah. And I thought that was really cool.
Really well executed.
Well
Like,
executed,
good
very cool.
graphics and everything.
Way too big for me. Like I get it. I gotta stick with what I know. And this is a lot already. Like 54 distilleries. And the 4th distillery in bout 2 is Springfield Distillery. Come on. And that's another one that, like, not a lot of, like, really big names in here. But of those 4, I think that Springfield Distillery has it. They make a lot of really interesting whiskey. They have I believe it is essentially a bourbon mash bill, but aged entirely in port casks. That is very good, very different. And I really enjoy it. When I'm not really a big port finish person, if that makes sense. I typically find it to be a little bit too, um, I don't know, like wine rot sort of note forward, if that makes sense.
Wine rot, like botrytis, like Sauterne.
Darker note than I get out of a Sauterne, but like for whatever reason, every time I've had a like nice port, I've gotten like the sort of, you get like that old leather and grapes gone off, and it sort of combines into something that I can only think of as being like rotting grapes, and it kind of throws off my palate because I can't, once I start thinking of that, I can't think of anything else,
Yep. I do want to answer the question about courage and conviction, and actually, I
Yes.
think Phill. I mean, we'll come back around to VDC when we get to them in the bracket. But courage and conviction ex bourbon is age stated 4 years, but my understanding is that in practice it ends up being older.
Yeah. Like a lot of distilleries that are like deepening their stock, they are getting to the point where they're getting some older and older whiskey available, and their age statements, rather than update like labels, which means the TTB process, it's a pain in the butt. They're sticking with the 4-year age statement because maybe uh they're getting some 6-year-old in there, but 4 years selling it, and that's
the people who don't emphasize age as a lever, who emphasize maturity, will say, like, yeah, 4 years old is a respectable age statement, and it gives us, sure, we have 6-year-old blending stock, but every once in a while you have a 4-year-old bottle, 4-year-old barrel that is really going to contribute something, and it's nice that you can still include that. And then there's the products that are sold on the basis of being age statements, which none of the Courage and Convictions are. They don't
No.
carry a prominent number, right? Like the Double Cask Reserve, I think is everything is aged a minimum of 5 years in this one, but that's tiny print on the back.
Yeah. Not putting my thumb on the scale or anything, just saying I poured a glass of bourbon from one of Virginia's newest distilleries. This is from Cool Spring Distillery in Loudoun County, Virginia. My friend Henry, his dad is friends with somebody who is involved in that operation.
Nice. Hey, Patrick's back.
Yay!
Drinking a Stranahan. Come on, this is Virginia time. Drink some VDC.
And moving on to bout 3 of the first round. And now we have an example of a distillery that always surprises me that it doesn't go farther, which is KO Distilling Company. They're getting more traction now, which I'm really glad of. They're kind of near me. They're in Manassas, Virginia. They make fantastic rye whiskey, very good bourbon. They don't make an American single malt, although I bet you if they did, it'd be good.
Is it Knockout Distilling or Knockout Bourbon?
It is KO Distilling.
Oh, I say Knockout. Is it actually just KO?
It is KO.
Okay.
The letter K and the letter O. They produce bare knuckle bourbon, and their Distiller's Reserve is just branded KO Distilling. Cool. They will be going up against Mean Spirits Distilling, which is another newer distillery. They produce an American single malt whiskey, which I have not gotten my hands on yet.
You say mean as in like not nice?
Yeah. Well, okay. Or the mathematical term, which I believe is actually the source of their name.
Oh, okay. Actually, I'm joking. Actually, it's spelled MEEN. Just kidding. Feels like it should be, right? Like it's weird the mathematical term is spelled the same way as not nice.
It is. And that is another veteran-owned business, as is KO Distilling. Third,
I feel like I should put asterisks on the ones that are veteran-owned, because there's a lot of them.
There are a lot of them. Number 3 in this bout is Reservoir Distillery. And this is one of the bouts with only 3 competitors. Of those 3, I think it's a toss-up for me between KO going through and Reservoir. Reservoir does well every year. Reservoir is, a really interesting distillery. They do open top fermentation. They're right on the river. They're producing really interesting chewy bourbons, if that makes sense. Not everybody likes them. I find them to have a lot of different character. Ooh, I need to get my hands on that one. I've heard nothing but good things.
Also, Aaron R says,
I know.
How do I want to read that? Aaron says KO Distilling damn near swept the Virginia Spirits first landing cup in 2026.
They did.
If I'm not mistaken, that was the one that Bartlemy was judging in.
Yep. Yeah. I believe that one of their whiskeys and their gin took home pretty high awards, and I feel like there was another category that I'm not familiar with their spirits in that category, so I can't say for sure. But I know that their Battle Standard gin, which is like a naval strength gin, 114 proof, also very good, won an award.
That's a good question. I mean, you can get a lot of these if they're big enough.
Yeah. A lot of distilleries have partnered with Big Thirst. Um, I'm going to have to do some research and figure out what distilleries can ship out of state. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of craft distilleries are having trouble getting like deals with distributors because the big guys are kind of feeling the pressure of craft distilleries, and in turn they're sort of putting their thumbs on the scale about like, you know, what what distributors are carrying, if that makes sense.
I'm trying to applaud without making noise, but I realize I just look crazy.
Oh, but I mean,
I look like I'm swatting a fly or something.
it's good that craft distillers are putting that much pressure on the big dogs because that means that they're doing things right. On the
Yep.
other hand, it is really bad that these big dogs are willing and able to like sort of try to, squish craft distillers out of like wider distribution because there are fantastic distilleries that just don't have a whole lot of distribution. KO Distilling is hard to get outside of Virginia. Ragged Branch, which is an award-winning, like not just like in Virginia, but like generally in spirits competitions, a well-regarded award-winning distillery, hard to get outside of Virginia, and that just kind of sucks. Speaking of awards,
Yeah, I'm gonna say. So we're at 56 minutes in. Half
yeah,
an hour
I
was
need to.
banter. We've done 11 distilleries so far.
I got to
In the
keep on
interest
it.
of this not being 3.5 hours long, we should try to speed this up a bit.
Yep, I'm just going to pull the 3 for the next bout real quick, which is Deep Creek, 5 Mile Mountain, and Ironclad.
Yeah, Ironclad. Good old Ironclad. As someone was
Oh,
saying
wow.
in the comments, they also go really far. I mean, like at some point, also, yeah, Ironclad, Filibuster, etc., etc. Have we talked about the Virginia ABC yet? Don't get him started. Let's give it 20 minutes. Okay, we'll get there.
Let me get through here, and then I'll get to that.
All right, so
Oh,
this is a 3-1. This is a 3-round bout.
yep.
Are any of these veteran owned?
Ironclad definitely is. I'm not sure about Deep Creek. I don't believe that it is. 5 Mile Mountain, I don't know a whole lot about because they have limited distribution, and most of what they do is and everything that they do is a small batch.
Not sure if serious or rage baiting. Because honestly, like there's something to be said either way.
I mean, there are some things that they do that are good. There are a lot of things that they do that get my goat. And in about 5, another 3 up, we have
They open on time.
Yeah.
Glow bar.
We have River Hill, which is a tiny distillery, family owned, in Luray. You can only buy it on site.
Patrick, the chat you're seeing on screen is a projection of the chat we have in StreamYard interface, which is uh, aggregating Phil's stream, like the Rangers Respite stream video and the Single Malt Frontier stream video, because there are multiple live chats that get aggregated in our interface.
Yep.
So you're seeing me post on behalf of both of our channels, and they're both showing up in the feed, which is kind of awkward, but that's what's happening there. Does that answer your question? I hope so.
And the other 2 in this bout are Cape Charles, which is an interesting distillery. Their website is currently under maintenance. And of course, the Virginia Distillery Company. And if I had to guess which of these 3 is going through, I'd have to put my money on Virginia Distillery Company.
It has happened that they don't make it.
So in second place, the runner-up every year that they didn't win was Catoctin Creek. The year that Catoctin Creek won, they beat Virginia Distilling Company.
Yep,
So
directly, right?
directly,
Because it's
yeah.
always possible that
It
doesn't
was
happen.
the final was VDC and Catoctin Creek, and
I was
Catoctin
so
Creek.
I was so torn. Like, how do you vote in a situation like that, right?
Yeah,
I had to go with VDC just because primarily American single malt, right? I got to
yeah.
know where my loyalties lie. I didn't write them down. Give me the first two once more, just so I can get them written.
The first two are River Hill and Cape Charles.
River Hill. Was this a 3-round bout only?
Yep.
Okay. Any of those veteran owned?
I do not know. I don't know a whole lot about River Hill because again, they are like you have to go and buy their whiskey at their farm stand, where you can also buy fresh cuts of beef.
Okay, so here's an interesting idea. I don't know if Patrick meant to suggest an idea, but the question was the winner a rye? Being Catoctin Creek, I mean, I think you could say yes,
Yeah,
effectively, but
I mean at the
we didn't
time,
we didn't pick specific whiskeys, but that's an interesting idea. I don't know how we'll do that because, like, on the one hand, you could end up diluting like people's opinion by choosing a specific whiskey as opposed to the brand, or choosing
yeah,
a specific because it's not all. It's the Virginia Whiskey Tournament, but a lot of these distilleries make other products that they might actually be better known for.
oh yeah, um, like 5 Mile Mountain. I don't know where it is. It's up here somewhere. 5 Mile Mountain is a good example because um they're mostly known for moonshine and like fruit liqueurs.
5 Mile Mountain is in bout 4.
Yes. All right. I can do this.
Hey, that Texas troublemaker.
Hey. All right. In bout 6, we have another threefer. We have Silverback Distillery,
Silverback.
who produces both in the Commonwealth of Virginia and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We have
That's cheating.
River City. Also, they don't have any products on VA ABC shelves.
Silverback.
Yeah, which is unusual.
Yeah, I was wondering. Hi, Marshall. I was like, who is this? This person is talking like I know them. But
yeah.
hey, Marshall, how's it going?
We've got River City Distillery, which is a newer one. I don't know a whole lot about them. I know that they make a bourbon. And the last one is Spirit Lab Distilling, who is in the running for the Virginia Whiskey Tournament this year because they ran a batch of their single malt earlier this year, but they're not going to be distilling it again until they can find another malt house in Virginia because the malt house that they relied on for their malted barley closed. And
yeah, so remind us why. I remember that they were disqualified last year, but remind us why.
Oh, Silverback was disqualified last year because I could not get them to respond on whether or not they actually produced any whiskey in Virginia. I have gotten word that they do, so they are in.
And Spirit Lab, you were saying
Spirit Lab was not disqualified last year. They didn't make it very far. They're a tiny operation. They have I think it's 300-liter still. They are mostly known for their gin, their brandy, and their Amaro, but they also produce some very high quality American single malt whiskey. Unfortunately, their the malt house that they
Yep.
relied on, went out of business earlier this year. So until they can find another, partner malt house to get their malt from that is local and affordable, that's sort of on the back burner for now, unfortunately.
So I just want to say, since we have Marshall here, if anybody makes rum, you should emphasize that, because I know that
Okay.
some of them do. Probably a lot of them do.
Probably a lot of them.
I'm not gonna say a majority, but lots of craft distilleries make a little of everything. So there's a good chance a fair number do make rum. I know for sure some of them do.
Oh yeah.
You obviously know better than me. All right,
Yeah.
so So this is an interesting bout 6 is kind of an interesting bracket being like a lot of underdogs, right? People who
Yeah.
are like, you're so small that
Oh yeah.
we're concerned
Yeah.
about
I
whether you
mean,
actually still exist.
now I do know for sure that Spirit Labs still exist. I still get emails from them. And they have an Amaro coming out soon.
Yeah. So Patrick, all that's required is that the distillery is, because there's more distilleries in Virginia. All
Yeah.
that's required is the distilleries in the bracket have to make a whiskey.
Yes.
So the issue that Phill was expressing was, okay, sure, they're a distillery, but are they still making whiskey?
Yeah. And I'm giving them a pass on this because it is something that they intend to continue to do, and they still have some in barrels, but they don't have a malt partner right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's a good point, Aaron. I mean, like if you can't actually buy them in Virginia, I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't make them not a Virginia distillery, but the point that's interesting to me is why bother having distilling operations in two states where one of them is notoriously difficult to work in,
Well, both of
and
them
then
are.
not bother retailing in that state?
Both of them are. You can only get their products at their tasting rooms in both states. So they were founded originally in Afton, Virginia. They've got a tasting room there and their distilling facility there, and you can only buy their products there because VA ABC dropped them,
Yeah.
which
Now
I
we
I have
now we're
thoughts
on
on.
the VDC rant.
Or VA ABC.
Sorry, VA ABC.
Now, in the next bout, this is a four-fer,
For
leading off strong
for
with Reverend Spirits, which every time I talk about, I want to reach for the bottle and point out one of my favorite little bits of design on their label.
which of course you don't have handy.
No, it's across the room. But if you look at a Reverend Spirits bottle, you'll see something that you might interpret as devil horns, which you might find to be a sort of a cheeky thing to have on a bottle named Reverend Spirits, but it's not. It's a clerical collar.
Oh yeah, look at that. Here, I could just why not do the share screen thing? Because yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And I may have jokingly referred to it as a dog collar because in some parts of the world, namely the UK, it is sort of sometimes referred to as a dog collar. In a sort of like poking fun at the priest sort of way, and they didn't appreciate that. Up next, we've got Bondurant Brothers Distillery, which is another one that's better known for something else. They're better known for their moonshine, but they do make a bourbon, which is also the case for Twin Creeks Distillery, which is also out in moonshine country, also better known for their moonshine. And then the last in this bout, and again, not to put my finger on the scale, the one that I think should go forward from this one is George Washington's Grist Mill Distillery. Because, fun fact, for a not insignificant amount of time, George Washington was the largest producer of whiskey in the United States.
George Washington. I almost actually misspelled it that way.
Yeah, sorry, that's my accent.
No, it was that was actually my typoing.
So what's really funny is growing up, so my grandmother was raised in Falls Church, which is just outside Washington, D.C. And growing up, when she referred to it, she would refer to it as Washington, like Warshing.
I think it might have been a generational thing because my grandma in New Jersey also said Washington that way.
Ooh. And across on the other side of the bracket, leading off with another well festooned with awards distillery, Ragged Branch, which is one of those. It's out near Charlottesville. It's just an extremely well-regarded distillery. They make a wheated bourbon that Dave Pickerel helped them develop. And they make a standard rye flavoring grain bourbon and a rye whiskey that's pretty good. You've also got Devil's Backbone, which is a name that plenty of people, I'm sure, are familiar with in a beer sense because they are better known for their Vienna Lager and other beers. And they're up against Tarnished Truth, distilled under the watchful eyes of the Atlantic. The only distillery that I'm aware of that is in a hotel, the Cavalier Hotel.
Phill, you've sent me like a lot of these, right? I believe you've sent me Spirit Lab. I need to go digging through boxes again.
I mean, not right now, but
no,
yeah, I think so.
Anyways, I realized we passed on VDC and I didn't actually pour. Well, I've been pouring the split barrel. That's fine. I was gonna pour the Courage and Conviction though.
So I know that his distillery was only in operation for about 10 years, but for those about 10 years, he was one of the largest producers of whiskey in the United States. And yeah, he only ran it for 2 because he left it into the hands of a actual like trained distiller for the remainder of the time. But it was a distillery that he owned. And the last one on that, I don't know if I got to that, was Blue Sky. Blue Sky is better known for their flavored products and a rum product. But they produce Triple Deuce, which is the only whiskey that I was actually immediately disappointed by.
Can't win them all.
Their flavored products are genuinely very good. I'm not.
My question is, because I mean, like the public is going to vote if they like the brand, but my question is, if you had your way, would people be voting on the quality of the whiskey or the quality of the brand that just happens to make whiskey?
That is a good question. I would hope that they'd vote for the whiskey that they appreciate the most. But I know that that's not always going to happen.
Yeah. This was a three distillery bout, right?
4. That one was...
I missed one. Ragged Branch, Devil's Backbone, Blue Sky, and...
Tarnished Truth.
Tarnished is number 3.
Yep. Good. And the next bout 9, is a 3-fer. And it has a really good mix. It has Blue Shepherd Spirits, also in Luray, a tiny brand recently founded, I believe, in 2019. Another brand that produces gin, a bourbon, and an American single malt.
Yeah, whenever I look at the Blue Shepherd Instagram, that pretty much sells it for me, right? Like,
oh yeah,
most of the time when I'm voting in the tournament, most of the time I'm looking through everybody's Instagram and kind of going on vibes because I have not honestly drank most of these. And just so everyone knows, that's okay. That is an acceptable way to vote in this tournament. Like, unfortunately, I guess for me, that makes it basically a packaging contest.
I mean, yeah. So
I'm not going to overthink it.
I've got to get down to visit them because the only way you can get their spirits is if you go down and buy it.
Yeah. And every year Phill manages to fill up my shelf with a little bit more of Virginia whiskey that then sits at the bottom of a box on the bottom of a pile of boxes that I never get to.
Yeah.
Look, the samples are out of control. The samples are out of control. I don't know if you've seen, have I given you like the visual tour of here without just like the production ready view? There's samples on top of the cabinets. There's samples in the cabinets. There's samples on multiple shelves in the closet across the room. My desk, I can't put anything on because it's all samples. I have boxes of samples organized to my right. I have boxes of samples not organized to my left, and there's probably like 200 samples in those boxes. Guys, when you see this, do not envy this. This whole thing that we're doing is a massive pain in the ass. You think it's cool at first, and then it becomes literal work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. My last rough count of how many samples I have, Patrick, was about 400. It's more now. That's all I can say.
It is
I
considerably more
still
now.
I can say this. I still have more samples than bottles, which I would say is a good thing. Because all the samples I have are bottles I didn't buy. But unless I decided I like the sample enough to buy the bottle.
So the other two in that one, which make it a really interesting bout, are Cashel, operated by Vanguard. And Cashel makes an exceptional peated malt. And Bold Rock Distillery, which is fun fact, I think you've got 2 samples of Cashel.
I do. Guess which one won the 12 Days of Christmas?
And Bold Rock, which is a cidery that has a distillery at one of their facilities. Look, we try to kill the samples, but neither one of us drinks very fast. So like, or very much in a sitting. So like this is still here. I don't remember what this is.
Well, did you at least mark like which round that was from?
No.
You can always reconstruct it from the video. Otherwise, you're going to have to reblind yourself and go on your tasting notes, which is always fun.
Oh yeah,
I've done that before. Yeah, no, the same. Like Blind Sample Showdown, I go through at most half of one of the samples in that show, oftentimes less.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, this is a 1 ounce sample bottle, and I would in order to kill off a sample, I would have to say I just want this gone, or I'd have to make time to come back to it when like literally like I only drink about 3 or 4 unique things a week, because usually I want to like if I'm evaluating something like the Split Barrel project, I want to have it on different days so my palate has a different experience. I don't necessarily do the same with sample bottles. With sample bottles, I'm waiting for my palate to have a good day so that I can do it in one shot. But with bottles, I'm usually, so when it's bottles, it's like 3 or 4 per week max. And most of them are not new ones, but some weeks, like 4 new bottles come through my door, like the Warfield, one of which is a gin. But like, yeah, there's just a lot of times there's just not enough time to drink samples when you're also running a podcast.
All right, the next bout is another 3-fer.
Okay, so hold on. Blue Shepherd, Cashel, and Bold Rock.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And the next one is interesting. So, first one on this one is 3 Wives out of Winchester, Virginia.
Is this one new?
It is new. They are really brand new. I haven't had anything from them. I need to get out to Winchester and visit them. Davis Valley Distillery, which makes whiskey under the Samuel Cox name, and that's COX, and another name that I can't think of off the top of my head, that I think are only regionally available in Virginia, which is unfortunate. And the third one, the one that is probably going to make it through, if not on name alone, then on connection with Tim Smith, is Climax. Because they now have a separate distillery from Belmont Farm where they had been produced. And if you aren't aware, Tim Smith,
they used to be Belmont Farm.
No, they used to be it's a brand that used to be produced by Belmont Farm. Well, so Tim Smith went on the Discovery Moonshiner show as a moonshiner, and made a couple of attempts to go legitimate. One of which was in partnership with, I believe, Limestone Branch in Kentucky, and the other one was with Charles Miller, or Chuck Miller, at Belmont Farm. And Belmont Farm is his long-standing partnership, but he now has his own facility, or so the website leads me to believe.
So previously produced in association with Belmont Farm?
Yes. Like in their stills.
Yeah. And Patrick says the first legal moonshine, which is an oxymoron, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Remind me. You said a few names really close together. Remind me the second one.
The second one in there is Davis Valley Distillery.
Cool.
Ooh.
Climax as a brand name reminds me. I mean, like, obviously, some people are going to buy it on that basis.
Yeah.
One of the commencement speeches I went to, I think it was my wife's graduation from college. There was the commencement speaker was someone who made a product called the Big O,
Mm.
and that commencement speech went about as you'd expect.
Fun fact, Climax is a place in Virginia. And there used to be a place in Virginia called Maidenhead. There's also Short Pump. Sorry. In the next
something better leverage, right?
Yeah. In the next bout, another threefer. We have Filibuster Distillery. Out of Mowertown, Virginia. Previously of DC.
I love the name.
It is a great name. Followed by A. Smith Bowman out of Fredericksburg, Virginia, formerly Springfield, Virginia.
You know what's funny? I do have the Bowman sample that you gave. I have a Bowman sample you gave me, but it's the vodka.
Oh, that's really funny. I'll have to send you a sample of Isaac Bowman.
I also have Isaac Bowman. I just not next to me.
And the third one is Mount Defiance Cidery and Distillery that produce Old Volstead bourbon. Old Volstead being named for, of course, the Volstead Act.
How do you spell that? DT?
Hmm?
How do you spell Volstead?
Volstead. Sorry, I had to crane over my monitor to look at the bottle.
Oh, nice.
All right. That's
a great question. That's a great question. How many vodka samples do I have? As I was saying in Discord, I actually do vodka tastings occasionally, but the context is I'm cleaning sample bottles and making sure by side tasting vodka that the sample bottle doesn't have any contamination of factory film or whatever. I want to say, I mean, thanks to Bartlemy, I have at least 6.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also a couple of vodkas that Phill has given me, a couple of vodkas I've bought. I want to say I probably have a dozen different vodkas in my house, which is like, considering 400 bottles of spirits, like that makes sense. Yeah, right. The serious question, do you think all these sample bottles were sanitized before use? If like the people that send me a lot of sample bottles, yes, I trust them to sanitize. I have
a system.
Probably. I mean, somebody would have to tell me they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because like everybody that I've gotten samples from has basically shown me their process of like what they're doing to fill them, just because we're nerds and we talk about that stuff. So like, yeah.
So Bowman falls into the category of I include them in much the same way that I include some of the NDPs, except that they're actually doing some distilling in Virginia because they're taking low wines from, I believe, Barton Distillery and redistilling it. It's another Sazerac distillery in Kentucky, redistilling it to get their own cuts off of it, and aging and finishing in Virginia.
Do they even wash them in sterilization mode? Look, I'm not that picky, okay? There are people who are. As good as I think my palate is, I don't think I am technically a super taster, so I'm not overly offended by bitter things. And like food safe glass is going to be fine. As Ethan was saying, we think that the like specialty bottle outfitters, I think, is one of them. Whoever's selling Boston Rounds, we're pretty sure they're actually sanitizing with acetic acid because you get that vinegar aroma when you open the box.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's food safe. And then you put high proof spirits in it. Like, what's gonna live? It's fine.
The next bout is a really good one. It's another threefer. We have Catoctin Creek Distilling Company, which needs no introduction. Becky Harris is a genius, and her products are amazing.
And they've made American single malts, so you can
Yes.
find them in our backlog.
Yeah.
Best Boston rounds, their standard lab equipment. Go with whoever is the best price.
Yep. Virginia Foothills Distillery, which is another new to distilling, but we're brewing beforehand. I believe they started distilling in 2021 or 2022. And Copper Fox, which is another brand that we have in our backlog. An interview with the one and only Rick Wasmond.
Mr. Rick Wasmond.
Still on a mission to bring peach to the Middle East.
I love that.
That's such a bad joke, but I love it.
Also, they have one of the best Instagram handles because they actually used the atomic symbol for copper, Cu.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's cool, right? I'm a nerd. Yeah.
And the next one will be another threefer. I'm sorry if I'm rushing. I'm just trying to get everything.
Just double check that I didn't forget any there. So
that looks right.
So 12 was a 3 for 11 was what was the last 4 for round 8, round 7?
Round 7 and round 8 were both 4s.
Yeah. Okay, we're good. We're caught up.
The next one is another threefer with some great distilleries in it. Oh man, they do have a bottle of your own. I don't remember. Sorry, I'm looking at Whiskey with Brad's comment. They do have a bottle of your own experience. I don't remember what the current barrel is, but it's always something that's really weird and cool. And I need to get out there and buy it. The trouble of not owning a car is that you're kind of limited. Sorry, the next one.
The sheer number of things that are effectively no context when I'm reading the chat. Like, dead to me. What happened?
That may have been over the peach in the Middle East joke.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's valid.
In bout 13, we have Appalachian Heritage Distillery, which also better known for their moonshine. Sandy River Distillery that make some impressive age statement bourbons and a hybrid rye that's pretty good.
A high what?
The name of their rye whiskey is Hybrid Rye.
Okay. So high age bourbon.
I mean, as far as craft bourbon goes, I mean, they've got a 7-year and a 9-year on regular release, which is impressive.
I'm sorry, that just threw me off. High age bourbon and hybrid rye, which is a name.
Yeah. Sorry.
Partly my fault because you said impressively aged and I translated that to high age. So I'm just going to impressively aged for craft.
And the third one in this lineup is Belmont Farm Distillery.
Is that with 1 L?
It is. Well,
Belmont
distillery has 2. So there are 3 total.
There are 3. How many L's are there in Belmont Farm Distillery, ChatGPT?
How do you spell strawberry? Spells it out.
Oh my god! I'm gonna ask right now. Maybe I feel like they fixed this, but like
I would hope
how many
so.
L's
But also,
in Belmont Farm Distillery. I'm burning the ocean for a gig for a gag right now. There are 3 lowercase L's in Belmont Farm Distillery. They fixed it. It's no fun anymore.
Oh, see ya, Randall. Take care.
See ya.
Look, I've liked what Copper Fox has done. They have improved greatly, which is
right, because of that crappy Wasman's. Oh, and he says you're getting he's threatening us with samples so that we can.
Yes, I want to try that. I want to try a really early batch, and I will respond with a sample of batch 218.
Yeah. You know me. I always say even bad whiskey makes good content.
Oh yeah,
Once.
once.
How many times are you going to subject yourself to bad whiskey? But
So the next bout is another threefer, and I think that there's one clear
oh my gosh, I'm
path
going to blow
forward
my
for this one.
palate on this Copper Fox. This is
Oh, that's
66.75%, and that's the
Ooh.
reason this bottle is almost still full. I love it,
Yeah.
but this hurts. Just going to add some water to this to save my palate.
Yeah, bring out some more of those phenolic notes.
Patrick has a grudge with Copper Fox.
Yeah. Oh man. So in this bout we have Creek Bottom, and Creek Bottom is an interesting one because they're attached to a restaurant. And I can't order their products online, so I'd have to go down to where they are, and I don't remember where it is, but it's in Southern Virginia. And they are a distillery that does a little bit of everything, which is always interesting. Let's see. And then Cool Spring Distillery is in this batch.
Cashel's so good. Just unrelatedly, Cashel's so good.
Oh yeah. The newest, there is a distillery that hasn't distilled any products on site yet, as far as I know. They aren't in the bout because I learned about them yesterday. They're called Motherwell. They distill in Ohio, but as far as I know, they haven't distilled any at their new facility in Virginia. Excuse me. I haven't tried anything from them because, as I said, I don't think they've distilled anything in Virginia. J.H. Bard's is really new. A lot of interesting notes in there that I think just needed a little more time in the barrel as of 2022. But I think they've got a lot of potential.
So I've been thinking in the back of my head now.
Yes.
Anyone who doesn't know, I'm a software engineer by trade. I also don't usually waste my time on dumb side projects, but now that you can vibe code anything, I feel like we've been doing the Virginia Whiskey Tournament for enough years now that we probably have viable statistics on how brands do. And it might be kind of interesting to do like baseball card style stats on these.
It might be.
And you don't necessarily need a vibe coded app to do that, but like there's other things you could do with an app, like you could, yeah. But like seeing how they perform in the tournament, it's not just who won, it's how far did they go? Like how many times did they win?
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you, Aaron. I will say their peated American Single Malt is by far their best product, and I think that it is actually probably better than it would be with more age on it because you're getting more of the peat through it.
No, unless you're on the stream, the StreamYard chat is just visible to the host and also whatever's being shown on stream. But like you're in the chat. The chat is basically just YouTube.
Yes.
I don't know what the split is between
the
two channels.
That hold on. Where did my mouse go? I mean, I have my physical mouse, but I don't. Oh, and it's dead. That's going to be a problem
just
later.
Wiggle it. Just wiggly bridge.
Oh no, the batteries are dead.
Wiggly Bridge, by the way, not in Virginia, but makes American Single Malt.
Yeah. The next bout is Forfer, starting off strong with Merlarky. Their birthright bourbon is pretty.
This is about 15, right?
Yes.
I was pouring whiskey and completely forgot to write down about 14. Could you just give those to me one more time so I could get them in the chat?
That is Creek Bottom.
Creek Bottom.
Cool Springs.
Cool Springs.
And Trial and Error. Trial and Error is cool. They do a lot of like experimental stuff.
Good name. It's like Educated Guess, the wine.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on 15.
15 is Merlarky. Also out of Manassas area. I think technically they're just outside of Manassas. Three Notches, which is a brewery that also distills. Lincoln Ridge Distillery, which is an interesting case of potentially a literally a wedding venue deciding to make their own whiskey and vodka.
That was Lincoln Bridge, as in Abraham Lincoln.
Lincoln is an Abraham, Ridge as in Ridgeline, the Honda truck thing.
Wild pull, but okay.
And the last one in that bout is Hilltop Distillery, which does make a single malt that I have not tried, but I am going to.
Sorry. I thought that was a 3-3. So okay, 4-way.
Oh, sorry.
Amended. Just spamming the chat with text we'll share later.
All right. And as I predicted, there were
about 16 final bout, I think.
The last bout is a 4-fer, and I'm missing 2 strips.
Uh-oh.
Buried in a sample box. It'll
Quick
take me a
stall
minute to get to them. But we've got Sleepy Fox and Belle Isle. Belle Isle, better known for their moonshine.
Say that again.
Sleepy Fox and Belle Isle.
Belle Isle, as in the island, right?
Yep.
Not grocery store.
ISLE. All right, and now I'm going to go spelunking in my sample bottles. Hold on.
So now that Anna Hins is with Lost Lantern, I already had collaboration plans with Lost Lantern, but the fact that Anna Hins is in my neck of the woods gives me a lot more opportunities to collaborate, and I'm really looking forward to that. However, can I push more peated ASM into the Lost Lantern catalog, though? I know, right?
All right, guys. I'm definitely not falling over.
Yeah, we're just talking about Anna Hins now. It's cool. Yes, Lost Lantern. I think Lost Lantern comes out the winners on this one. Even if you could say that, like, I think Westland probably made a mistake letting Anna go, but you know, everybody's a little bit squeezed right now, looking like, you know, she did a whole lot of business development for them. On paper, it probably made sense to, like, oh, you know, marginal value is maybe a hard equation to square now, right? I think they made a mistake letting her go, but I think the whole industry is going to benefit from this move, right? Like, Lost Lantern comes out the winner here. And it's just such an obvious team up in retrospect. Although, I wonder, considering, I mean, I think Single Cask Nation, like, probably wasn't looking for more people, but considering the relative closeness of the relationship that Anna Hins had with Single Cask Nation as well, I wonder if they feel a tiny bit jealous. But they've already got a Westland rep on their crew, right? They've got Jess Lomas as the Lost Lantern. I mean, as the Westland fangirl. Yeah. Can anyone actually read the bracket? It's partly it's out of focus. But, like, I don't know. Phill, you're gonna have to send us a sample of the jank before you reprint it.
Oh, before I reprint it? Ooh.
Yeah. Take a picture, right? Take a picture when it's all janky.
Oh, it's going to probably be 2 pictures. It's kind of a hard aspect ratio.
Yeah, well. Yeah. Multiple pictures.
And also, Patrick, it's jankier than sticky notes. I am proud of this. It is loops of Scotch tape and strips of paper.
It's not even double-sided tape, guys. It's loops of Scotch tape.
Because I don't know what I did with my double-sided sticky tape. which
See,
is what I used last year.
what you need is one of those magnetic whiteboards.
Yes. And just print up magnets with the distillery names on them.
And just reuse them every year.
Yeah. I could also play magnetic poetry and just throw in distillery names at random. All
There's
right.
a joke in there, but I'm too tired to make it.
Oh.
I've done that so many times.
All right.
Back when I was wearing a hat, the number of times that I tried to put my hat on over my headphones.
All right. And the last two in about 16, oh, come on, are Franklin County Distillers, also better known for their moonshine because they are in Franklin County, the moonshine capital of the world. Literally, that's what it was called during Prohibition. And you're not going to believe what I just did.
They knew. Did you just drop the last one again?
Yes.
Surely you know what it is.
I didn't read it before I put it up, and my brain can't keep track of 54 distilleries.
Process of elimination, go.
Let's see. If it's not up there. Oh, it's Axe Handle Distilling.
Axe Handle Distilling.
Yep.
Sweet. We did it. We got to the end. It's not even 2 hours into the stream.
Yes. We did it.
Now we do the ABC rant.
Yes. All right. So I actually don't hate VAABC as a concept. My problem with them is their execution and the fact that the people at the top don't really care that much about Virginia distilleries or Virginia jobs. Like I've laid this out in a video where I explained that if Virginia distilleries do better, they hire more people, the money that they earn selling more products pays to hire more people who spend more money in those communities. And you know who else spends more money in those communities? The people in the sort of surrounding industries, like farmers. You know where distilleries get their grains? Farmers. Usually with craft distilleries, it's local farmers. So you're getting money that's, not just from, or not just to like a handful of people that are specifically watching or not watching, specifically. So I've got to structure this in my head before I say it.
Or we just send everyone to watch
yeah.
the video.
Well, yeah, but now I'm on a little bit of a tear, which is why I keep misspeaking. VAABC could earn more tax revenue by supporting craft distilleries because distilleries pay tax on everything they produce. If they're selling more, they're producing more. If they're producing more, they're paying more taxes, and they're paying more people because they've got to hire more people to do the more work. And so then you've got taxes from those people. So you're growing the tax base. You're supporting Virginia jobs. You're putting products made in Virginia from, base elements that were produced in Virginia. So as to, is there a Virginia Distillery Commission or Guild? So VAABC actually does have a semi-decent directory of distilleries. There's also the Distillery Trail people have a whole website where you can narrow down by state. Also, I believe the ACSA and Distilled Spirits Commission are both headquartered in Virginia. I could be wrong, but I think they are. I'd have to double check that, but they would have good directories of people in the Commonwealth. And I feel like there was somebody who was working on like a Virginia Whiskey Trail passport thing, but I think that project may have gotten stalled. Also, it
Phill,
annoys. Yep.
What's stopping you from making such a thing?
Um,
Not to sign you up for more work. I mean, the amount of work you're putting into videos every week at the moment is
I
awesome.
mean, I don't have any marketing experience or programming experience. So, like, to build the interface to build a directory would require a little bit of programming knowledge.
I'm gonna go ahead and say vibe code. Like, I I have such a complicated relationship with generative AI as a software engineer
Mhm.
because there is an existential threat to the software engineering industry as it exists today, where the people who are good at it are also good programmers. And we're moving into a world where engineering means thinking clearly about what the constraints are and what the needs of the product are. And you don't get to write code anymore. And for a lot of us, writing code is the fun part. And like
Mhm.
solving the problems is the fun part too, but it only feels like you halfway solved the problem if you spoke it in a meeting or prompted it to an AI. And to get the result, having put none of your own personal toil into it, just feels wrong.
Yeah.
And that makes me sound like such a Luddite. But at the same time, I cannot deny how much faster using AI has made me at doing the stuff about my job that generates value. So it's complicated. And
Mhm.
also, like, I'm not against paying people to make thumbnails, but this is a $0 revenue business here. Um, actually, that's not true. Thank you, Patreon subscribers. We are officially more than $0 revenue, thanks to you. But we are zero profit. We are negative profit, right? Like this thing costs more to run than we make.
Mhm.
So more to run than we bring in. But yeah, writing code on like I used to put code bits on MySpace without understanding what they did, which in retrospect is a horrible idea. But that's basically how I learned how to program.
I mean,
Also Neopets, more Neopets.
oh geez, Neopets. I That's a blast from the past. I haven't thought about Neopets in forever. I wonder if I could still find my login credentials anywhere.
Last I checked, which was like 2017 when someone tried to hack my Steam account and I had to change all my passwords. All of my pets were starving, but they never die. So there's that.
Do
All right,
you
what happened? Where do we get? All right, so I'm not necessarily committing to making a thing, but if you've got an idea for a thing, I know how to drive the AI and we can make it happen. So
I I'm sorely tempted. I may have to actually figure out how to get some coding classes in because that is probably something that I should know how to do. But
used to be the nice thing about vibe coding is that used to be when someone came to me with a dumb app idea, I'd be like, no, that's a waste of my time. And now I could be like, that's worth an evening seeing if we can make it happen. So, like, yeah, I'm game. Plus, until I actually start my new job, I'm still, so to speak, unoccupied.
hmm, hmm. It reminds me, I
So, like,
applied.
we have an opportunity. I've actually been thinking, we were talking about making a distilling simulator game.
Mhm.
Think along the lines of like the coffee shop simulator game or roller coaster tycoon, but like, how do we make a distilling game that is like a well-coded game and also has a decent understanding of the distilling industry? And I mean, there's probably more valuable things I could be doing with my time, but like, I never felt more enabled to make a game than I do right at this moment.
Mhm. I will say, um, the like curating a database, like just sort of
There you
pull.
go, SimCity Virginia Distilleries, but I cannot use that branding because trademarks.
But I mean, like, literally, probably the second hardest part after figuring out how to code it for me would be pulling in and
It's
curating all the information.
it's mostly the data piece, right? It's
Yeah.
like making the app is one thing, but the data is still a boots on the ground kind of thing.
I will say, in case anyone's wondering, why a bunch of my friends have repeatedly asked me, particularly the ones who are autistic, have asked me if I am autistic, and I've been tested, is because I have a 6-page spreadsheet with all the parent companies and all the brands that they own for major distilleries. So, and I've been maintaining it for like 10 years now.
Can you just splice out the ASM part of that and put it in the ASM database?
I'll see what I can do.
Because
There aren't actually a whole lot of major brands like big umbrellas that own ASM because it's just Proximo and Stranahan's. I think I'd have to check, but I
Remy
think
owns
it's
Westland,
Remy owns Westland, Diageo owns
Diageo, Balcones,
Balcones, and I think that there's one other, but I can't think of what it is off the top of my head.
and some private equity owns Westward now, and some private
Yeah.
equity owns Del Bach now.
Oh,
I mean, like, good for them. We're gonna
I
cover
mean, yeah.
these news stories. We've referenced a bunch of news stories here, but we've basically made Three Guys One Grain the place where ASM news happens.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna leave off all the conversation about these things
Yeah.
until then, which is gonna be in a couple weeks, a week or two,
I have
probably in a week.
thoughts about what happens to companies that are gobbled up by private equity, and I really, truly, in the deepest parts of my heart, really hope that the strong personalities at Del Bach keep that from happening to them.
Steven and Mark have a good thing going.
Yeah. I mean, I wanna talk to Mark Fairtaller again.
Yeah. Have I actually tried to reach out? I did. I haven't. He's not because he avoids me, but he's often busy.
Yeah.
As of right now, he has not responded to my Instagram messages since that news dropped.
Yeah. Oh, he
So
may be facing a little bit of like trying to
cool it on the media contact until they sort it out. But like,
yeah,
also, I think that just on a personal level,
he
I
is
think he's
very
going through a
busy.
busy phase.
Yeah.
We do have Ian on the inside.
Yes.
So he's been feeding us little bits of good news, but like nothing like substantial newsworthy. Just like cool things are happening, right?
I
Like
took I took the
that
Moto
bottle you got.
Oh, this is not the Moto Sonora because I took it to
Oh,
D&D and it's still sitting on my kitchen table. But
ah,
the private barrel, yeah, I got this through Ian.
yeah. So yeah, Ode to the yeah, they're back with Ode. They have
Yes.
officially dropped the Isla, Ode
y-
to Isla.
Yeah.
Now it's
Which
just Ode.
I
If
mean,
you know, you know.
yeah, it's
Oh,
one of
speaking
those.
of,
Yeah,
how does Highland, what's it? Highlands Distilling Company. How did they get away with that?
I don't know.
I mean, like, also, like, where does SWA get off saying that Highlands is not a place in the United States? Because, like,
One
literally, like, you're
there's
trying to trademark a geographical adjective, essentially.
so
Like,
my favorite place where they've lost on that is they tried to tell Glen Breton, or the company that makes Glen Breton, that they couldn't use the owner's founder's name because it was too Scottish, and
Glenn?
they no, his name
Oh, okay.
was started with Mac, and it was a Scottish name because he was a Scottish immigrant. And they went after Island.
Really?
I
Not Glenn?
I mean, that
They
was
didn't go
one
after Glenn.
they did, but the two that were really, like, in my opinion, morally bankrupt in that instance was the going after the founder's name, saying that they couldn't use the founder's name, and using island as a descriptive adjective of where it is from, which was especially mad because, in Scotland, islands is not considered a separate region. Islands
I
is
mean,
not a
kind of is, but also
officially,
not
per the
officially.
government and per treaty, it is not.
Yeah.
Because fun fact, the technically it is Highlands, Speyside, Lowland, and Campbelltown. And Campbelltown by the skin of their teeth. I feel like I'm missing one.
Lowlands.
Lowlands. But Campbelltown is literally by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, because they had to have 3 distilleries, and so Springbank went and took all the same people and went and made the Glengyle distillery so they could make Kilkerran, but it's the same people.
Yeah.
Just so they could continue to be a region.
I mean,
But also, hey, Kilkerran's good whiskey, so
it
I'm not
is.
mad.
Yeah. Back of the Dragon. Tail of the Dragon is a road from I believe it actually starts in Virginia and then goes into Tennessee.
But the real question is a hot dog considered a sandwich? And on that terrible disappointment, cheers, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
We've thoroughly lost the plot. I will take pictures and post.
It's time to get out of here.
Yeah. Night, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Cheers.
Till next time. Sláinte.